Hello, and welcome to the Underhive.
And thank you for rejoining me here with some IRL action. I'm going to be doing the vlog that I promised, and I'll try and get it up today, which it'll probably be this afternoon now by the time I've edited and uploaded it. But thank you for hanging around if you have waited for it. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about really. I mentioned it when we came back from when I came back from holiday, and I've kind of put it off. But I saw a video earlier on that makes it feel fitting to mention that now. So firstly, I just wanted to talk about the schedule. So we're going to be carrying on with Dead Space. That's going to run up until Halloween, I believe. I'm going to try and sort of cut it right up to Halloween if I can, but I feel like it might well end like the week of. So we'll see how that goes. We've also started Noitia or Noita. I'm not sure how that is pronounced. Really enjoyed the first episode yesterday, even though it was a bit of a short one. So we're going to give that some more goes, and hopefully, you're enjoying. Well, you enjoy the look of it at least. 20 minutes isn't really much to taste get a taste for it rather. But I'm enjoying it. I felt it was nice to play, really nice to look at. So we're going to carry on with that, and that could be a long running series, as I mentioned in the episode itself. And also, as I mentioned in that one, we've got Machine for Pigs coming. So I'm going to either start playing that today or tomorrow, depending on how my schedule is, because I've got some other IRL stuff to get done. One of which is going shopping, so I'll probably pick up some tenner for men, so I don't leave a puddle. Uh, in all seriousness, though, as much as I'm looking forward to playing the game, I'm not looking forward to how terrified I expect to be. So hopefully that's a bonus for you, but it kind of isn't for me. So we'll see how we get on. Now, the video I saw earlier on, I'm not going to name drop them. There is no way that they need me to do that. They're in excess of 100,000 times bigger than I am, so I don't think they need me to do that. Uh, Perhaps that's not quite right. In excess of like 50,000 times bigger than I am at the very least. So yeah, it's not something I feel I need to drop, but the top and bottom of it was changes to the way that YouTube targets certain content, and in particular content that targets an individual and critiques them beyond a certain point. And that's essentially harassment. And I'm fully behind that. In that, as you'll have seen, my content, whilst it isn't the most creative content in the world, I understand I'm playing a video game and talking over it. But I think you can all agree, or I certainly imagine most of you would agree, that what I'm doing isn't the same as just gameplay footage. My commentary adds something, whether that's a benefit or a detractor in your opinion is fair enough, but it adds something to the content beyond just gameplay footage. But I think sitting there and either just reaction streaming or reaction uploading and sitting there and slating somebody for something that they've done, whilst fair enough, like I understand people want to watch it. Like I'm guilty of that too. I've watched stuff like that. I just think that it's firstly not the most creative outlet, and I think if you're telling yourself that you've worked so hard because you've done a bit of reaction streaming, or you've watched a program and recorded what you think about. I suppose that is reaction streaming, isn't it really? But I don't think you can honestly tell yourself that that's that hard to do and that you deserve to be monetized for that. Because if you really wanted to put it up, you'd put it up without the monetization and just let your fans view it if that was the point of it. But I think it's fair enough for YouTube to say, well, that's not legit. And the same goes with harassment of other creators, and of course, people have lost their channels over stuff like that. I don't agree with people being deplatformed in any way. I think demonetized and perhaps cautioned, maybe even banned to an extent for a period of time, depending on the level of severity. I think that's all fair enough. But to deplatform somebody is to sort of imply that they cannot ever change. And I don't think that's true of anybody in any circumstance. I think with the right motivation, anybody can change the way they behave, even if that's not actually a change in their opinions. but I think they're entitled to those, whatever they are. So I just wanted to say really that I don't disagree with them targeting content that is harassment and content that is extreme violation of copyright. Now, fair use is a thing. I don't use much B-roll because I am bothered about whether or not I get copyrighted. I'm going to start weaving that in more as I get more confident with the editing, but I am on the fence about how relevant that is versus how likely it is to get me copyright struck, which is something I don't want, obviously. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that if you're getting views because you're harassing people, that isn't much different from you being the popular kid because you're a bully. And although most of those people probably weren't like that when they were a kid, it's a very similar mentality and a very similar behavior. And I do think that that needs to be stood up against, because if you're going to do it, by all means do it, but you shouldn't be getting paid for it. That's a very different delineation to being allowed an opinion to being paid to voice what is essentially harassment. So that's the negative bit out of the way. One other thing I wanted to come back to, and I felt it fed into this, which is why I wanted to say that first, is the sort of the change in mindset I was able to have from my trip away. So as I mentioned, we went to Wales. I'm terrified of flying, so I was grateful not to end up going away. We were supposed to go abroad to America this year, but I'm not sure I could have faced the 10-hour flight, but luckily I didn't have to. So we went away to Wales, lovely little place, and as I'd mentioned in the update at the time, their internet speed was almost non-existent. So other than being able to spend maybe an hour each day recording an episode of Necromunda Underhive Wars, which I didn't then end up editing or uploading at the time, I just simply recorded it because I took my my laptop with me. I was able to disconnect a lot more from internet connectivity, so social media in general, and that really helped my headspace, I think. I mean, firstly, me and my fiance sat in the hot tub outside. I mean, that's always going to be nice, isn't it? I'm not going to pretend I've got one at home or anything. We had one while we were there, but we sat in the hot tub, which was a positive. But we sat there with no ambient light around us. There was nothing else other than the house and just like loads of fields and hills, and just watched the stars come out, which I've never sat there and done that before, and it was really a really introspective moment and makes you realize how small you are, really. And I know that that's a cliche to say. I'm sure that's been said hundreds of times. But when you actually appreciate that for yourself, it means so much more than anybody could ever tell you. And I actually saw my first shooting star, which was really nice. Again, you see it in films or on telly. It's like, oh, shooting star, and the kids are like absolutely over the moon. I'm a grown man, and I saw my first shooting star, and I was like actually awestruck. Just to have glimpsed that 1 or 2 seconds that maybe nobody else saw, and to have that part of nature be perhaps just mine was really, really humbling and nice. And so yeah, just to spend that time outdoors really made me think that I should make time to do that more often. And perhaps that's part of what led us to get a dog as soon as we have, because I want to be able to or rather have a reason more so to go out to new places and just be in nature without having my other responsibilities take over that and be like, well, we don't need to go out and walk, so we're like, I'm going to carry on with this thing that I do really need to get done. Now we'd have the dog. I will need to do it, so that's every reason to prioritize that. And I think, feeding back to the previous point about harassing people and spending your time uploading what is essentially bullying or close to, it's not that hard to spend your time being positive. Why not make a video about somebody you did like the footage of? Whether they're an up and comer or whether they're real big. Like I could have made videos about the people I've referred to in these previous vlogs and things in a positive way. I've not been slating them. I've been disagreeing with the odd one or two things, but it's not because I don't think their opinions are valid or have a place, just that it's not mine. And I could quite easily make a positive from their opinion. But again, I've not gone so far as to drop them, and I don't feel that that's really necessary. But at no point have I said they shouldn't, do whatever it is they're doing. And I think if we all spent a little bit more time looking for the positive in whatever circumstance, and I could have been really upset that I didn't have internet access because I couldn't do the thing that I'd intended to do. But in actual fact, by taking a step back from it and looking at what I was able to do instead, it opened me up to something that I wouldn't have otherwise done. And from that and that sort of mentality, I've actually taken up starting yoga, of all things, not something I ever thought I would. And it's really just because of a morning at the moment, I try and do some cardio. I don't always fancy it first thing of a morning, and sometimes it's been rainy. And although I've got a bit of indoor space for my gym, I say gym like it's just some weights and equipment and a bench and stuff, but my gym area, uh, I've got some indoor room for that. There's not really much room to do skipping and stuff as well, which I like to do for cardio. So I tend to do that in the yard, but I can't always do it of a morning. So yeah, I took it upon myself to do a bit of yoga and actually really enjoyed it. I have very, very inflexible hamstrings, and my hip flexors and things like that are fine, and quads and calves are generally fine, but my hamstrings are terribly inflexible. So by getting into that, I've seen a little bit of a positive move forwards with that, and I think for me that's something to be grateful for. And I just want to urge yourself, if you're watching this, to find something that you can be positive for. Again, as cliched as it sounds, you'll feel a lot better for it. It's so easy to find something to be annoyed about or to, get frustrated with or to wish could be different. But you can't change all of that, or for the most part, you probably can't. So let go of it. And I'm not into all the chanting with the yoga or anything like that. I'm doing it for the fitness benefit. And fair play to you if you do the chanting and whatnot. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's not the way I want to practice. But whether it be physical activity or just going outdoors a bit more, firstly, with everything that's going on at the moment, that is supposed to help. But without a shadow of a doubt, it will help you mentally and probably physically if it's physical activity as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share that I've felt those positive changes, and as well as that, got another new sub yesterday after I'd uploaded the 90 episode. Don't know whether it was off the back of that, but I don't think it was because in fact it wasn't because it wasn't even up yet. But yeah, I just want to shout out that every time one of you does, I really appreciate it. I'm not going to bang on about it at the start of videos. I'm not going to call you to action for stuff like that. You know how it works. If you want to be updated, you know how you can go about that. But I just wanted to say that I do really appreciate every single one of you that has. Just because I don't bang on about it all the time, I wouldn't want you to think that I don't. I do look at the numbers. I'm not driven by them. I don't think that they define my worth or anything like that. But that makes it all the more sweeter that actually I've seen that little increment go up, and that means that somebody is entertained or feels that they can connect with me, and that is for me mind blowing. I'd never expected anybody to want to. So thank you all so much for getting involved and staying involved. And again, whether it's to do with this video or any of the others, please do comment. If there's something you want to say, whether it's even if it doesn't really give me something to add back to the conversation, even if it's just like a little thing, like even if it's just a little smiley face, I will read it, I will acknowledge it. You will be adding to my day, and I will get back to you because hopefully that will add to yours, that you can see you've had that connection with me because I've replied to you then and there. And I don't think that's true of every channel. I don't think everybody responds to every comment, and partly that's probably because they got loads more than I do. But I am committed to always getting back to people. Whether there's one comment or 1,000, possibly a pipe dream. I'm not saying I ever expect I'll get 1,000 on a video, but even if I did, I would make the time to get back to people. So please do feel free to get involved. And if otherwise, again, as I've said, if you don't feel you want to, or you've got nothing to say, or you don't feel like saying it, even if you do, that is fine by me. I just really appreciate you getting involved and watching the videos, because that's really the the truest sign that you're interested or entertained, because you've sat there and watched it. So it's been a bit of a ramble. Apologies for tailing off at the end there into that, but thank you so much for watching. It's really meant a lot to me here, just to be able to sort of get those things off my chest and open up. If you feel similarly or feel differently, please do let me know. I'd love to have the discussion. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time in the Underhive.